Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And good morning. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
the morning show here on CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Rumble, Tiki Live, Audible, Amazon Music, JioSaavn, Spreaker, and more. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk at all, no any kind of talk that isn't centered around you and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And that's why I have topics and guests to that end. And it is Fired Up Friday with my fabulous, beautiful Inside and Out co-host, Cynthia Caughie. Welcome back to the studio from, is it Lake Tahoe?
Yes.
Lake Tahoe. Let's give her a little round of applause because she's tuning in from so far away. Welcome. And I think it's a perfect thing that you are out trying to have work-life balance by going and taking a little vacation with your children, or they're not children anymore. You're young people. And and I'm working on work-life balance here as well, as I woke up with a stiff back a couple days ago, and I don't stay down very well. So I went on the exercise bike for 40 minutes thinking that I would stretch it out. And I think I did the opposite. And then I just got a call from the hospital. My mom is back in the hospital. It is pneumonia, and she has cracked ribs. And so I am actively practicing some work-life balance today, which is our topic. So if you've just tuned in, or I see eyeballs rolling coming in, please go to either YouTube channel, and the link is in my Instagram bio that you can click on there. You can go to Facebook to my page and my profile, and watch there. And brand new this week, Cynthia, I don't know if I told you, we got permission to go stream on LinkedIn. So I tagged you there. And we had a lot of wonderful engagement from the LinkedIn folks yesterday. So how do we define work-life balance? You go.
Well, we're not doing our coffee talk and gratitude this morning.
See, you're going to have to really help me because I'm really trying to,
Well, it's okay. And this is why we're a great team, right? So part of it is, honestly, it is the gratitude. I have my little journal right here. I didn't write in it yet, but I'm going to. It's one of those things. I think it was Corey Feldman on your intro that said, when you get up and you thank God and you are grateful for all of the things that you have in your life, then things abundantly come to you. And it is an amazing, amazing process that I learned to open myself up and to really be in the moment, I think. And I practice it. I would love to say every morning. I don't do it every morning written down. But 88% of the time, I do it.
Yes. And thank you for that reminder. Absolutely. And it was Corey Feldman who said
Yes.
that. And it was wonderful. He didn't know that is one of the things that I'm about. So yeah, we're going to have breakfast right now and have a bite of my gratitude sandwich. 8 specific things that we're grateful for. Cynthia, you get to go first.
Well, of course, I'm grateful to be sitting here on location in beautiful, sunny Lake Tahoe.
Beautiful. I'm grateful that I'm here on location on the beach, the beautiful beaches of Long Beach. Your turn.
I am grateful for my children. I am grateful that my 3 lovely ladies are here and spending some time with me.
And their names are?
My oldest is Lily, my middle is Allie, and my youngest is Frankie.
And what's one word that you would use to describe each one of them? And that takes up your
Oh,
4 gratitudes. That takes up your 4 I've told you before, you have to be specific. You can't say my friends and family, can't say my daughters. So you get each one of them gets a gratitude. So you like your oldest because one word best describes her.
Well, this is easy. I coined this when they were all 3 sitting in the back seat of my car, lined up. I had 3 in 5 years. Lily is my angel. She's completely mellow, always like the center, like she can calm you. Allie is Allison. She is my middle. She is my pistol. She's a little bit of me. A little fiery. And then Francesca is my youngest. We call her Frankie, and she is my character. She's a little bit of both, but she rings it all together. Lovable and a smile. So she's always that.
Thank
character.
you for that little peek into your personal, beautiful life as I call it a mamily instead of a family. So when you have a single mom and you have kids, I call it that's your mamily. So there's your 4. So I'll finish off my 4. I'm grateful for Chloe Mae Carpenter, who is my oldest, and I would say she is strength. She truly is strength. Life events have chiseled her into an extremely strong, loving being. And I call her, since they were little, sitting in the back seat, best big girl in the whole wide world. So when she signs her cards, that's how she signs them. And my younger one is Sarah, sweet, soft Sarah. And she's sensitive, and sensitive is 100% correlated with creativity. So she is also known as my best little girl in the whole wide world. And those letters become, loving, endearing things. And I used to do this when they were young. I love you dearly. So all the kids in my life know that, and I'm so grateful. I got that from my dad. That's my last gratitude. My beautiful father, who is in heaven. My dad, Dr. David Pay, who left from early from lymphoma, but he's there loving all of us very strongly. But he was the kid and dog whisperer. You know, he'd be in a room and kids just go run up to him. You could be 100 people and they go right to him. Same with dogs. And I got a little bit of that from him. So, yeah. So there you go. Top of the bun, bottom of the bun. 8 things that you appreciate. 8 things that you appreciate about yourself. You go.
This is always a tough one for me. I appreciate my level-headedness. Does that count?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I appreciate my balancedness.
I appreciate my my motherly instincts.
I appreciate that I'm caring 88% of the time.
I appreciate that I'm a big dreamer.
I appreciate that I'm spirited.
That's a new one for me. So I appreciate my new relationship and connection with God and Holy Spirit. It's a good one.
I appreciate my new understanding of my UPS man, my universal power source who delivers every morning when I pray and meditate. All right, and there you have it. You had breakfast with Cynthia, Caughie, and Dr. Marissa. And I so love that you reminded me to do that before we jump into the topic, because it is absolutely important. If this is the first time that you are hearing about the gratitude sandwich, I challenge you in a loving way to do that for 30 consecutive days. Top of the bun, gratitude, bottom of the bun, appreciation, and your days in between are going to be incredibly, wonderfully up. Unlimited possibilities. So that's what we're doing. And welcome to the eyeballs that are rolling in. Please do comment and interact with us, as this is something that we want to do for you. And the topic is, how do we find more work-life balance, or how do we define work-life balance? And is there any such thing as work-life balance? Any one of those questions you want to tackle and answer? We actually already have someone who was kind enough to put in LinkedIn. I think she saw the announcement last night. Terry West, you got to know how to shut it down without feeling guilty. Own your space. And I think that's brilliant. I'm going to give her some applause just for that. I absolutely 1,000% agree with her. And lost Cynthia's picture. I'm not sure how stable your internet is in Lake Tahoe, but I will continue on here. And she had to step out. So I will remove her for a second and say to you that, Terry, you have highlighted some of the reasons why work-life balance is so difficult. You can shut it down, but sometimes the guilt, especially working moms have, about not being with their kids is something that definitely impacts your happiness, definitely impacts your decisions around work-life balance. And I'll tell you a funny story. I actually was Googled years ago because I was one of the first people to actually talk about balance on the stage. And work-life balance was just a tiny piece of balance that I think Cynthia and I have talked about before. But the work-life balance is the part that usually refers to the new woman who came out of usually stepped into the feminism where we want equal work, equal pay, and said, I don't necessarily want to stay home raising my children. I want and I need more than just that to fulfill me. That's some women, not all women. Other women have to work by necessity. Single moms, for whatever reason, the husband doesn't bring in enough to support the the household nut, if I want to say the money that's needed, and it is the cost of living. So the mother has to work. And when those situations happen and you have a woman usually doesn't necessarily relinquish or can afford to relinquish or want to relinquish the side of them that raises the children. So I had put balance in as a description, and I was hired by Wells Fargo Bank to speak at their conference. That was Tim Hanlon was the EVP at the time, and his executive assistant had put in a motivational speaker balance. And I came up to talk to them, and I actually shared a stage with Mark Shriver, Maria Shriver's brother, and Captain Kirk, which was kind of cool. And I ran into Tim years later, and he said that of all three speeches, the one that people remembered the most was mine. So I thought, wow, that's a huge compliment that was given to me by Tim to say that, I was the most memorable speaker. But anyways, I got up to speak about work-life balance, and I said, for those of you who are looking for work-life balance, and you're women and you're working full time and you have kids and you're doing all the work at home, raise your hands. And every single woman, and there weren't a lot of women. This was a high C-level executive conference, and there were a lot, but every single woman raised their hands. And I said, and how many men here have full load work, full load home? And there was, I think, one out of a few hundred of those men raised their hand because he was a single dad. So this whole concept for work-life balance, I jokingly say there is no such thing, because it's impossible to do everything without feeling like that you've dropped the ball somewhere. For the average person, for the normal person who's looking for work-life balance, that is the struggle. I rarely meet someone who says, I got this. I've got it balanced. I know, this is this time and this is this time and everything's working. Most of the time, as Terry has pointed out, they're doing it, but they don't necessarily have peace where they are with the balance. So there's my 2 cents on defining it. Cynthia.
Well, thank you for the examples. It's crazy because I've, being an entrepreneur and starting late in life, in the beginning of my career and being a mom, I started full time, and then I had my first daughter, and I said, this is not what I want to do. I was commuting. I was doing 14 hours a day. I'd see my little one a couple hours because she was so young, so she'd go to bed early. So I made the choice. I said, this is not what I want. I want to see my daughter. And so it was a personal choice because, right, work-life balance. So when you make a decision like that, you have sacrifices. So I'm sacrificing my 40-hour-a-week paycheck, right? Which means difficulties at home, because in a 2-income family at that point, right? So you have to make the decision. I like to look at things that we just talked about in my Facebook group, Affirmations and Positive Mindset. We just did a workshop on boundaries. And I said, make a pie chart of your life. How much time do you spend at home? How much time do you spend with friends, right? Because that fills your cup. And how much time do you spend at work? And so if your pie chart is a little off balance, right, then you have to ask yourself, are you okay with that? If you're not okay with that, then you got to do some things in order to balance it out for yourself. But part of it for me is just asking yourself. I mean, people will just do it. People will just do the rat race, right? And they know that we have to sometimes. And when we have to, that's the time where we start to get resentful and we start to get angry about our situation. And then it bleeds over into other things in our life, i.e., our relationship with our significant other, or our relationship at work because we're spending so much time there. So for me to think about work-life balance, it's an evaluation. You really have to ask yourself, am I living my best life? We have boundaries, which a lot of people think of boundaries as something, I'm going to say negative. That's what I said on the webinar. You have to think of them in a positive way because they do good, and that's part of the process, right? So when you have boundaries and you're looking at how much time you spend at home, how much time you spend with your loved ones, how much time you're spending at work, you can build positive boundaries, meaning I'm spending this much time with either my significant other or my girls, right? You have to evaluate. That is part of the process in, I'm going to say, all of life, because honestly, when I became self-aware and I started asking myself those questions, that's when my life really changed. Instead of doing the reacting to what's in front of me all of the time, I got proactive and I said, okay, what's working? what's not working, and what can I improve on? And those three things right there, those questions in your reflection process will help you achieve work-life balance. I think there's a little trick in there too. When you think of work-life balance, you think of it as a negative thing or a positive thing?
I would say for most people, especially those who come to me for coaching, it is intended as a positive thing, but in reality, it's kind of a negative thing
Right?
because you're looking at it as a fixed pie. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who I have in studio, it's your regular Friday, fired up Friday host, Cynthia Caughie, and we're talking about work-life balance here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I wanted to come back to a couple of words that you used. One was sacrifice, and one was, you know, the time spent on in the different areas, and you were talking about that exercise and boundaries. And for me, the idea that we have to we're like at you can only do your career 80% if you want to do your home 80%. You can't do your career 100% and at the same time do your family 100%. And that is the BS, the belief system that some people, say, well, I have to put my job on hold. I have to put my career on hold, and I don't want to do that. And any and all of those statements don't make you feel good, right? They're not 88% happy for sure. So when I take that word sacrifice right out of the equation, is that I'm constantly making a choice, and I choose at this moment, because I can carve out a pie and I can say I want to spend 30% of the time, and then, Mom, can we do this? Mom, can we do that? Mom, I have to go here. Mom, you have to take me here. Mom, you have to do this. Call from the boss. I need this thing by 5:00, and you got to finish it because you're the lead on the thing. And I have to, can I count on you? Yes, you can. And you're sitting at their games and you're working. You're not paying attention. Mom, I just got a home run. You missed it. You take them to the zoo. You promise you're going to take them to the zoo for a day because all week you haven't been able to be at any of their activities, and they're like yanking on your hand. Mom, look, like the gorilla's pooping, and you miss that because you're on the phone and you're talking to your colleague, and you're trying to get this thing together, and you're so exhausted, and then you don't want to make a healthy meal because it takes so long, so let's just go through drive-through, and then you forget to floss, you go to bed, the alarm goes off, you're late, and you got to get everybody. So that's work-life balance.
No, that's not work-life balance. That's reacting to your situation. And it's so funny to me because literally I've flipped my brain. I have flipped everything in my brain to be positive. I know you said sacrifice, and I said sacrifice.
Yeah, you said it first. I'm saying don't say sacrifice.
Yeah. Right. And I'm pondering that, and I'm like, okay, so let me know.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna where it comes from. So I know that life is not always fair, right? You can spin it 10 ways from Sunday. Sometimes life just isn't fair, right? It just isn't. But you have to think of it in a different way. So when I say sacrifice, I think that it could be in a positive way. And I know this sounds weird, but it's what you're filtering it through. If I sacrifice some of the time at work, right, it'll give me something else. If I sacrifice, because I like to do this, so you're sacrificing something that you like. I like to make dinner. If I say tonight, guess what? I don't have time to stand around for an hour and a half, prep, cook, and everybody eat in 10 minutes because we love that, right? We do all of that. What if we're just going to make a healthy choice and we're just going to say we're going to go out tonight? So sometimes not, it's how you filter it. So it's not about maybe going through the drive-through. Maybe let's make a healthy choice. Let's get prepared meals, or let's do it, let's get a little thought behind it, right? It's proactive. You look at your week and you say, okay, this is what it looks like. I'm thinking of a specific instance right now, but so you say, okay, I'm going to be late this day. So this day I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to tax myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, okay, this day we're going to plan ahead. You know what I like to do? I like to have my kids make dinner. This way they get a little taste of, oh, this is what it's like. We've done it where they have to make the menu, prepare it, go shopping for it. And
That's a
then
great
cook it.
idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have 3 girls. So they all actually, some weeks are better than others. So I'll be like, oh, I don't want to work or something like that. And I don't do it every week, but I give them the opportunity, because then it's a little bit of balance, right? It takes it off mom. You're teaching them something, right?
Yeah.
They're planning it. They're doing all of those things. So I think that helps. That's just one of the strategies. But again, it's sacrifice, I think, in a positive way.
It's a great tip too for those of the moms that are feeling the way that I described it. And that is, I did that example on purpose because I think a lot of moms are feeling that way. Now, to circle back around to the word sacrifice, I like to replace sacrifice with I'm choosing in the first 6 years of my child's life, when the 6 years of predominant the neural structures and it's really a very important time for the bonding to happen and for some baseline behaviors or baseline BS belief systems that I because I work with a lot of high achievement oriented career ambitious women, and they are in that quandary after 3, 6, 9 weeks, 9 months off if they're with a really good employer, usually in Europe, that about going back because they're afraid they're going to lose their place in that corporate ladder. And I say to them, you're not losing anything. You're choosing to invest your time for something that is going to help you and pay off. And you're still the same person who, takes no prisoners and has a track record of performance. And this day and age, to see a 6-year gap in your resume is not like it used to be. And you have every right and privilege to say, this is what is important for me. And I choose, as you were saying, purposeful. I choose to spend this time raising my children. And then I always have, it's always this and better. I always have the option to go back. And you can look at that as, oh no, I'm going to lose my place. Or you could, or I'm sacrificing my career to raise my children. Or you can say, I'm choosing to invest my time and energy, which is, you only have 24 hours a day, towards my children as my legacy, and will return at some point in time. And when that decision is made, there's guilt, right? You're going to, when you go out and have lunch with your colleagues or whatever, and they're saying, oh, I just got this promotion, you might have that momentary feeling of, and then you just look at your children and you focus on all the upside of being able to raise them at home. That's the reason why I picked on the word sacrifice. Is it really truly is one of those BS belief systems that if we just turn it like you're saying, this is the positive side of sacrifice. It's called choice.
I looked it up because that's what I do. So I looked up the word. When I wrote my book, there was a lot of things, and I looked up the definition because
and
BS,
tell people the name of your book so that they can look it up.
It's called You Can Do Hard Things. And one of the things I say in the book is, and this was, and it really all starts with your mindset. It really does. How are you filtering it? What are you putting your beliefs through? Where are they coming from? So the more you grow, the more you have exposure, you learn different tricks to this, right? If you grew up in that household where mom was always upset and, she had to go to work, or even the opposite. What if she was the loving mom and she was there no matter what? But you, when you grew up, you're the opposite. You went to work, right? So your belief is, oh, I'm doing something that I wasn't raised. So it all, you know what I mean? It's all in how you look at it. It's all in how it was formed, your belief system. So this is the definition of sacrifice. There are many. Of course, the religious one, which is not pretty. There's all kinds of, I know. I'm like, oh boy. I know. So anyway, this is the one. So sacrifice is to give up, and then it says in parentheses, something important or valued, right? For the sake of other considerations. That's perfect, right? Because it's your choice to give up something to better something. And that's the part for me that you really have to, that's the way I filter it. So if you change your belief system or you upgrade your belief system, right, to we're doing it in a way that is positive, then to me, that's the real reward, because it's the nature of the beast. You can have it all. I truly believe you can have it all. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a mom of 3. I'm an author. I am a restaurateur. I do all of these things. Now, granted, every day I don't do it well. Everybody is human. But 88% of the time, I feel like I do a really good job. And for me, there's seasons too. You'll go through a season, you'll learn something, and then it'll make it better on the other side. And so those are the times when I say sacrifice, where something good will come out of it on the other side. I'm grinding right now. I'm grinding. But something good's going to come out of it. And so I hold that. I hold that thought and that dream and that vision.
Great. We're going to take a quick break. We've been talking about work-life balance. You should recognize her by now. She's my regular Friday co-host on the special series called Fired Up Friday, as we prepare you to go into the weekend with as much positivity and happiness possible. You are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
Here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
To the world was exploring the world. What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn, it's impossible, to I'm possible, the what ifs become possible too.
because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed
And making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
You're on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel and LinkedIn now. So you can come and chat with us and interact. And the topic today is work-life balance. I did want to give a shout out to Blood, Sweat, and Tears is performing at the Saban Theater on the 9th of September. So I want you to join me there. I want to congratulate the winners from the Asian Oprah giveaway that I did yesterday for those tickets. Janet and Calvin Yoshitaki won those tickets, and keep it tuned here. We are having Little Wayne is going to be at the Saban, as well as, let's see, hold on. Kenny Wayne Shepherd is September 28th. Little Wayne is September 23rd. Really great art, music, talent that is coming back out. They did suffer through the pandemic, so please let's go out and support our artists. There's my commercial for today. And I'm so delighted to have back every Friday Cynthia Caughie, who is someone that we just instantly connected at a secret knock. And shout out to our friend Greg Reed. And we're talking about work-life balance. And I wanted to finish the show off with some practical tools and techniques and tips and happy 88 tips on how to maintain or create, discover, inspire yourself to more life balance. Cynthia, take it away.
Well, I just went live on Instagram, so we're doing good so far, and we are talking about work-life balance. I think it is an awesome topic. I am here in Lake Tahoe, and I am enjoying some time. The girls are all in their rooms. Some are sleeping, some are not. But we have talked about several different things, and I would like to give a little something that's in my book about work-life balance. I think your morning routine is huge. If we do not set up the time to center ourselves, put ourselves first, then we're already off balance. So, and balance is a tricky thing. You have to know what really feeds you. So for me, I share in my book, You Can Do Hard Things, that the morning routine is key. I do 4 parts. It is mind, heart, body, and spirit. And I feed all of those things so that I am my best self. I'm charging myself up. I'm giving myself the positivity, because in our everyday, things come at us. We don't know what's going to happen next sometimes. I mean, I run a restaurant, so on any given day, something could break, something could leak, which is my current situation. And I'm here in Lake Tahoe, so I'm still smiling. I'm not freaking out because I've learned some tools in order to keep myself balanced so that I can help other people make good decisions, right? That's part of being balanced. So mind, heart, body, and spirit.
That great. I just
Okay,
requested you to join so we can do this together, and we'll see you.
Oh, great.
You can do that. And I'll do a couple of tips for work-life balance. Where you are is where you are. and enjoy where you are. One of the things that in my example earlier about, the practical nature of work-life balance and what feels like should not, it's so difficult to have work-life balance because there's just absolutely too many things to do. There's like a full-time job at work and a full-time job at home. And so if you are constantly not where you are and worried about what is not going because you're where you are, then your work-life balance is a bad term. So I say that when you're with your kids at home, you do not look at your email. You do not text. You do not. And some people say, yeah, but there are emergencies. And I actually coach my corporate clients to begin to introduce things like question Thursdays. And from a certain time, if you're a leader, that block of time is when people can ask you questions that they haven't been able to get in front of you. And then because the next 2 hours is time that is scheduled with your kids to do something or with yourself to do something, because it's true that thing around the oxygen, you got to do this before you can do this. And so where you are is a tool where you can really enjoy the time that you're doing something. When you're problem solving and you're an overachiever and you love problem solving and you're really good at what you do at work, then stay there and not think about, I wonder what's happening with my kid. I wonder what's going on. And if you do get that call that something is, go and take care of the kid and don't think about all the things that aren't getting done. It's a way to, empower your direct reports too, to take on more. So when I work with clients at work, succession planning, empowerment, training, on-the-job training is so critical so that you don't feel like you're letting people down at work when you take care of your kids and vice versa. So it's up to you to choose where your brain is. That way you don't miss the gorilla pooping at the zoo.
Not that I needed to really see that, but but I get what you're saying. I love what you say about being present. So I have, I say this often now because it's a reminder for me. And they say that today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So even if you're taking this particular situation, be grateful for it, right? Have gratitude that what you are doing right now is where you want to be. So the second part of that, which I really like that you said, is I have learned to delegate. You have got to delegate. You cannot do it all yourself. It's honestly a superpower. If you can delegate, I mean, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a restaurateur. I've got 3 kids. I'm doing multiple side entrepreneurial projects that I've got. I've got consultants. I've got a new general manager at the restaurant. I mean, it all takes a little bit of time, but it's part of the process in being able to have that balance. Delegating is huge. You have got to learn to delegate. And here's the trick. You got to be okay with it. You have to know that the person that you have given the responsibility to, they're delegating, the delegation that you gave them, they can handle it, right? And sometimes here's one that I have a little bit of a struggle with, but I'm learning, right? My new general manager said, you got to give them a chance. You got to give them a chance. You have to give that person a chance because that's when they really shine. You know what I mean? Just like having the kids do something before they might be ready for it, right? You give them that option. You know what their skills are, but sometimes they just haven't done it. So they might not be confident enough to try it. But you're giving that person that possibility, and then it helps them. So you're not only growing, you're giving that other person the chance to grow. Absolutely. So those are the 2 things. I really like that. Being
Yeah.
present where you're at, and then delegating is a really, really strategic tool that you have.
Fabulous. I'm going
Yes.
to jump off your gratitude one. And
Yes.
the tool is called 88,000 foot look. So when you're starting to grind and feel like you're getting lost in the bushes and the weeds, and you're just like drowning with all of the pressures from work and from home, is to take that 3 breath technology, one, and release. That is soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees, igniting the body. Another deep breath in, and releasing all the stories and the drama. And that is igniting the mind. And then last breath, the third one, connecting with chi, eternal energy. That's the Chinese word for it. The power that made sure that none of the planets crashed together and we all died in our sleep. That energy, and you hook into that, and you go up. You go to the 88,000 foot place, and you say, what do I love about, and then wherever you are, what do I love about being a mom? And it takes you out of the weeds and go, oh, you know what? I can, and it always takes me back to that very first feeling that I had when my daughter was placed on my chest in the hospital. There's just no feeling like that. 88,000 foot at work. Oh, I love problem solving. I love most of the people I get to work with. I love watching people grow as a leader, as I'm mentoring them. I love working with my team. I love working with, cross-functional teams. So if you take yourself up and say, what do I love? That's the gratitude that then takes you out of feeling like you've got the weight of the world at work and the weight of the world at home onto your back.
And it's mindset. It's flipping it. Sometimes we forget, right? Because the things are coming at us so fast. So we have to stop. We have to pause. We have to do the things that we know that are going to help us correct, set our mindset, bring us back to that center. Breathing is huge. I don't do it enough during the day, but I do suggest it to so many people. Gratitude, it's twofold. I center on what there is that I love, but then there's also the thinking of, when you get in the weeds and you're like, oh my gosh, I forget the phrase that you just used, but I like to flip it and say, what can I do? Think about the things that you can do and not about the things that you can't do. Being in that moment, why do you love it? Because I can be here. Because I can spend time with my girls. Because I can make dinner while I'm here and have, fun family time, games and things like that. So it's all about what you can do and not about what you can't do. Focus that mind towards the positive. Like you said, that 10,000 foot view, the up, 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 bring your level up, because that's going to change everything. And it also changes what you attract, right? Also
Absolutely.
changes what you attract. If you're in the weeds and you're talking about it and we keep focusing on what we can't do, what happens to your energy level? You're attracting all those things. You go the opposite way and you're talking about what you can do and you're thinking gratitude, you have all that positive energy coming at you. And that's the thing, that's a trick. A lot of people get stuck in the what's happening, what can I do?
Yeah.
And so
Reacting.
I think that's really positive. Yes.
For sure. And I want to take a pause right now. It's Rich. His wife's water just broke. Taylor's water broke.
So this is a fun story. This is a fun story.
So we're going to send out really positive vibes and a breath of comfort and strength right now. This is truly, I don't think there's any other time that would be more perfect that during a podcast about work-life balance, someone's water breaks, right? What are the chances of that? This is a what moment. What are the chances of that? So I'm guessing they're friends of yours, Cynthia, and that's really super funny. We're on Instagram Live.
Yeah,
as well as
works at the restaurant.
Else.
She's a server, and I keep saying, I would love a home run baby. I would love a home run baby. So her water actually broke last night at the restaurant when she was leaving. I hope I could share that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, wow. That is
She texted me.
unbelievable.
She texted me last night. Yeah.
That's a home run, baby.
That's a home run. That's right. That's what we're saying. And I've been saying it. She's like, you spoke it into existence. And I was like, we've had so many firsts there. We have not had a home run baby. So, Taylor, I love you. Breathe.
Literally breathe.
She's on here, though. She's on the IG. She popped on. I don't know if she's still on, but she popped on.
There's got to be a Guinness World Book of Records on there, you know, at least according to IG. But I wish you the very, very best. And it says, "Are we closed?" Is that you're talking about
right after this, Richie?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I've got options. I've already thought about it. I've got options.
Yeah. This is like delegation. This is what you were just talking about, right? As one of the tools. Yes. And we have 4 minutes
Lauren's
left.
On here too. So do we have to work today? The whole team, jump on in. You want to have a meeting right now?
That is so funny. I'm getting the 3-minute signal from my fabulous sound engineer, Polly, who's behind the scenes on the show. Thank you for all the work that you do. But our last 3 minutes, as we see, the drama is here. You're getting fired up right now. You're on the scene live with Cynthia Caughie, the restaurant owner of Home Run up in Northern California, and one of her employees has just broken her water, and the rest of them are wondering if the restaurant's going to be open, and she can't say anything because she's on the show. But don't worry, hang on. We only have 2 more minutes. What's your last word around work-life balance, Cynthia? And then I'm going to let you go because they're freaking out. So,
in all honesty, it's the same. Be proactive with your growth. You have to reflect on where you're at, and you have to decide your priorities. And then you just set boundaries. That's a lot, but we talked about a lot of those things. But it's getting in front of it. It's being proactive.
Yeah, absolutely. And Terry, again, I loved her comment. You got to know how to shut it down without feeling guilty. Own your space. My last word on this is, for me, the order is always UPS man, my universal power source man, God, holding my hand and connecting with the powers that create magnificence, myself, and then others. Because if I don't put myself before others, then I'm exhausted and I'm constantly running around trying to be the perfect whatever it is. And that my last word is, you can have work-life balance if you yourself feel balanced. And I can be balanced if I recognize that I'm not perfect, but I'm not a piece of shiitake. I'm not a piece of shiitake, and I'm not hot shiitake. I'm just pretty good shiitake. And when I'm 88% there, have I done the best that I can with the time that I have and the resources I have? 88% of the time, I'm golden. And that is how I know that I have work-life balance. This is Cynthia Caughie and Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room. I hope that you have the best weekend ever. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in. Peace out, world. Peace through inner peace. See you next Monday. Have the best weekend ever.
Have a great weekend, everybody.